is day 6 on our desert adventure. Today, we're getting out of the house, which is nice. I mean, I know we did yesterday, but then the rest of the day we kind of just relaxed. But we are going to go check out Bombay Beach because Mom's never been there, which is a little community nearby that just has some cute art installations and stuff. Then we're going to go get our date shake and check out the date palms because Mom's never seen those. And then we're going to head into Palm Springs and just see, maybe we'll find a bookshop there, sightsee, look at some art. And that's the plan. And then we got to come back because at 4, my Uncle Bob and his band are playing at the local Outback is what they call it. It's like a mobile RV resort. And we're really excited about that.
Yeah, we get to see him perform.
Yeah. So that's our plan for today. And, as far as reading goes, we're going to probably listen to No Exit on our way because we've got a bit of a drive to get to Palm Springs. How's your reading going?
I finished Road Tripped.
Yeah.
Finished it.
Okay, so tell us about it. What'd you rate it?
I rated it 4.75. I loved it. It was a rom-com, and sometimes I don't rate this very high because they're just not as involved as literature and stuff like that. But this was hilarious. I laughed all the way through. It had a great ending. I would recommend it. It was so many giggles. That was the fun part. This just felt like there was just page after page after page of hilarious things happening, and you just had to laugh your head off. It was fun.
Did you like really the characters?
Fun. Yeah, I did. I was rooting for them all the time. She had a misconception about the main guy. Every single relationship book, it's communication, lack of communication. Especially in a new relationship, you're afraid to say anything because you don't want to send them off or anything like that. So there was such a big miscommunication between them, which is in every romance book, so it's not unusual, but it took a long time for them to break through and finally be honest. Yeah. So it was good. I loved it.
And then I was continuing to read The Neverending Story, over 120 pages in, so I'm getting through it. 2 of my favorite characters that I remember loving in the movie, which are the gnomes, if you remember, that scene between them was really satisfying. So that's one of the more full scenes that I felt like in the book, it's as in-depth as in the movie. Whereas a lot of the other scenes in the movie that I recognized from the book, I felt like they were very small, short scenes. And so this was the one scene where so far that I've been like, wow, this was a really satisfying scene. And not that I'm not enjoying the book, it's just I'm surprised how quickly certain scenes are moving by and that there's not that much detail going into them. Still have a long ways to go. So I'll be curious to see how much more of the movie is in this book and then how much more of this book there is, because I had heard somebody else say that there's so much in the book that you don't get from the movie. It's just funny how some of these older fantasy books have really quick pace and not very much detail, whereas I feel like that's different than more recent fantasy books where there's a lot more detail spent. And I'm just wondering why fantasy authors then wrote so much differently than fantasy authors now for middle grade type of fantasy. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing I was thinking about. So we're going to head out because I'm starting to get hot, so we got to put the AC on and we'll see what happens next. Tell me about Salton Sea.
I can't remember what the percentage is, but it's way saltier than the ocean.
How did that happen?
It just keeps getting saltier every year. The water that goes in there has salt in it, and there's no outlet for the whole thing. Everything that goes in there is there, and it evaporates the water, leaves the salt in there.
Okay, so Salton Sea was really popular in the
Damn popular back in the 60s.
60s?
Yeah, God, that was something they always show pictures. People stand there with a string of fish that they can't even hold up. Big fish, Jesus, for a while, it was really something.
What were some of the celebrities that hung out here?
The Marx Brothers, Frank Sinatra, the Beach Boys, some of them, a couple of them learned to water ski. God, there's quite a list, and I can't remember any more than that. But
the Rat Pack.
Yeah, the Rat Pack used to come in out there. And hell, that would be the place to go. Palm Springs is a long way from the ocean, so it'd be easier to come here 40 miles, well, maybe even that far from the north end of it. Yeah, it was just great. About 10 years, I think, is how long. No, it might have been 15.
So when my cousins are here, they'll actually swim out to that and swing on it. But since the water smells like egg, I'm not going to today.
55 to 70. Let's see, the folks went down there when in 80? Yeah, probably. It's better than it is now, but nobody went water skiing. Everything had gone bust by that time. So
Why? What
just because
happened?
water was too salty.
Well, no, wasn't it the 2 hurricanes that came through and
Yeah,
flooded
it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
out the hotels and all the different, the hotel, the yacht club, the county park, way up past all the restrooms and all the different businesses. And that was pretty much the end of it after those 2 big,
Yeah, one was in 76, the other was in 77.
yeah.
And have any hurricanes come through here? Is that something that happens normally?
Oh, God,
Yes.
no. These were
But it
100-year
left-
storms.
yeah,
And they had
left
2 of
over
them.
from Sea of
2 years,
Cortez
that's-
and stuff. coming
Wow.
up from-
They just weren't using them anymore. People just stopped coming here.
How many years ago was it? 15 or 20 years ago that they sold off the water.
Yeah, 17 years ago.
17, that they sold all the water that used to go in from the Colorado River. And that
Which
berm you saw around Bombay Beach, that's why that berm was there, was to stop Bombay Beach
Yeah,
from flooding.
flooded it out.
Oh.
So they came in and put a 7-foot berm. And about that time, the lake started going down a little bit. They didn't really need the goddamn thing. And now, stand on the berm, I don't know how far the water is away from it.
It's
A long
far.
way.
Long ways.
Like making the canal so that nothing's flowing out, did that change anything?
That didn't really hurt well, yeah, because this creek used to run into it, I guess. Yeah, so it probably hurt it a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose
And there
it
were
did.
probably a whole lot more creeks along the way that,
Yeah, that
Would
could
have flowed into the Salton Sea
yeah.
then.
Yeah. Wilbur was down here. He still did a lot of fishing. There were a lot of tilapia. There weren't all the big game fish as far as I know out there.
Yeah, game fish were probably
Are there any fish out there now?
There are still tilapia out
Okay.
there.
not.
They can survive through anything.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I think there's still quite a few.
It's a date shake. I've got a date with the shake.
What do you think of it?
I can taste the date, and actually it's good. I'm kind of full from lunch, but we definitely wanted to try one. This is the last time we're going to be in Palm Springs to this trip, so they get good reviews, and it tastes good, and it looks really pretty. So, yum.
There used to be, and I saw one picture of it, people waiting in line to put their boats in. There was a half-mile line of people sitting in their cars waiting to get their turn to put the boat in.
So people can't put their boats in anymore?
No, they've got it too shallow. There's no boat ramps left.
No,
It's evaporated so much that you can't get out.
What's the deepest point?
about 50 feet. It's not deep at all.
They kayak in it a little bit, but it's getting so hard to get to it.
Good morning. It's day 7, and I actually did not put out a video for day 6 yesterday. I just got really tired. I feel like I've been exhausted for most of this trip. And granted, we've done a lot of driving and a lot of doing stuff. And then down here, the weather is so much more hot than I'm used to up in Washington. So our body's trying to adjust to this different weather. But also, I think my brain is just kind of taking a break. You know, school's done and it's like, okay, it's time to shut down and take a break. And so it's been really nice, but also really exhausting. I just feel tired all the time. And then my allergies have been really congested. So like there's little things, little reasons why I had to skip my video yesterday. But today we're actually going to go on another trip out on the Razor. We're going to go to the Oasis and a couple of other places we hadn't got a chance to see yet. Not quite as long of a journey, but we're excited about it. We were going to go to Joshua Tree today or something else like that. But, you know, it's quite a bit of a drive to get out there. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing a lot of driving. This is our last day here at the ranch. Yesterday when we drove out to Palm Springs, we listened to No Exit for quite a bit. So we're about 3/4 the way through that one. I'm having a hard time enjoying that one. For some reason, it's just not working out quite as well as it is for Mom, for me. And so that one got a little more interesting for me yesterday, which was nice. I don't think Mom's picked up a new book, but I'm still working on the Neverending Story. But last night I tried to read a little bit before going to bed, and I couldn't. I fell asleep right away. Oh, and then also the Spring Equinox first semester of the Aurelian Magical Readathon came out, I think it was yesterday, and we were watching it this morning. So we're trying to figure out what our calling is going to be. It'll be interesting. I'm looking at like Necromancer. There was a couple of other ones that I was interested in. And Necromancer works really well for my character. And Mom's really interested in Healer, Moon something, and there was something else. She was kind of thinking about a Beastmaster also. So we haven't quite gone through all the possibilities, but we're having fun this morning looking at those and seeing what our possible callings will be for our characters for the Aurelian Magical Readathon. So that's kind of what we've been up to. But we're going to be heading out in about an hour, and we've got to get ready.
But the house burnt down. There's a swimming pool out here. And they have the house was in a little bit of bad repair, but evidently kids probably burn it down hanging out here. I don't know, but it did burn. There's a spring that comes up out of a tree back there, and the water actually comes up out of the tree. Somebody had a house here. I mean, regular toilets, it was a little... Yeah.
Is there is there a road nearby?
Range Road goes down there somewhere, but no, there was not a good road anyway.
So you just kind of made your way out here. Tell us about the Oasis.
Okay, I think it was the Overland Stage. There's two Oases here, this one and the other one. One of them had the stage house, the other one had the barns. The stage house is long since burnt. Well, everything is gone, but we know somebody that when he was a kid, he's probably my age, so it was a little while ago. He did find an old pistol here in the stage house.
When would the stage house have been active?
18 something. Bob knows that part, I don't.
Yeah.
But it was in the 1800s. And they didn't use this stage line very long. I don't know if the railroad came through. I don't really know what happened, but it wasn't really long that they did it.
are you feeling, Mama? After our ride out in the desert.
We did another desert ride. I told you I was never going to do it again. Man, my daughter's very persuasive. What do you mean I lied? I didn't want to. I don't like being a human milkshake.
It wasn't as bad this time, or was it?
Going where we went wasn't as bad this time, but coming back, it was way bumpier. And I asked my auntie, I said, why was it so much harder coming back? She goes, I went faster.
She wanted you to experience the true nature of roughing it.
You're bubbling like this the whole time, and you can't talk, and you have to keep your mouth open so that your teeth don't chatter, and you have to make sure you're loose so your neck doesn't. It was fun.
Well, what'd you think of the Oasis?
I liked it. In the middle of the desert, we found this oasis. There was a trench. It was so funny and weird, and there were little fish swimming down this trench, and it was, a really long trench. It was fun to see.
There were a lot of fish in there, yeah.
And then we saw a tree with shoes growing out of it. I'm wondering what kind of fertilizer they use.
Dork.
And
what about the underwear tree? What fertilizer did they use for that one?
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I guess if you don't have any more use for your shoes or panties, there's 2 trees out in the desert you can throw them into.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I went and put sunscreen all over everything except my face because the facial sunscreen was elsewhere. And then I completely forgot to put that other facial sunscreen on.
Your face doesn't look
It doesn't look so bad,
red.
but the second we came home, I slathered on like
Aloe
3 layers of aloe vera. So it's a little red still, but not too bad. Not like we thought it was going to be because it was so sunny and hot outside. So we then just relaxed and I read a little bit. So Mom started reading another road trip book. What are you reading now?
Well, I can't pronounce this very well, but it's called
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. I want to say nose for A2 by Joe Hill.
Uh-huh.
It's freaky.
What's it about? Is it a road trip book?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Isn't that what you got it for?
Yeah.
It says at the bottom, devilishly good. It's really kind of freaky.
Sorry, she's going to talk about it from this side because my arm was getting tired.
It starts out with this 8-year-old girl. She can find things, and she does it by riding her bicycle across a bridge. Freaky, number 1. Number 2, there's a man that is, I can't tell yet if he's a child molester or what he is. It's well, I think he is. He abducts children and takes them to Christmas land. Again, I don't know what he does with them. The book kind of in the syllabus says, or whatever it's called, says that
Syllabus, you mean the
I'm at
summary?
school.
Synopsis.
Says that he makes the kids be terrifying. So in some ways it sounds like Pinocchio, with Pinocchio going to that land.
Yeah,
where
the boys. The land where I don't forget what it's called in Pinocchio, but
I don't know, but it's supposed to be a fun place. So this is supposed to be like a fun place for kids. He takes these kids to a better life, is what he believes in his mind, is that he's abducting all these children and taking them to Christmas land where they'll never be abused by parents. He claims that parents abuse these children, and so he's giving them the better life, but who knows? The fact that he's abducting children overall will never make it through court. But it's freaky because Christmas land is in your dreams. And so he's trying to get a custodian.
so it's not a real place.
None of this is real. That's what.
So it's like a
I kind of wondered,
fantasy
sci-fi.
sci-fi, or you said sci-fi, but I think it sounds like more fantasy.
I guess fantasy, because the Christmas land isn't real. The bridge this girl takes started out real, but I'm just reading. I'm at a page now where she's 13. She's still using the bridge to find things. The bridge has been gone for a really long time. So it's very fantasy, I guess, which is kind of surprising. I just didn't, it's a road trip. The driver, the man that abducts children, his car is very important. They're driving everywhere. He goes all over the United States to find these children.
That's a road trip.
So it is a road trip.
Yeah.
The little girl does her thing on a bicycle, and I guess, is that a road trip? She takes
she's
trips
traveling places on her
bicycle. So, but it's just so weird. I was hoping for something more fun and not so eerie. It's
a horror.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I shouldn't have picked up a horror story, but out of all the rest of the ones Amy has, it sounded pretty good.
Well, I'm interested to hear what you think about it because it's gotten really good reviews.
Oh, I have to tell you, the author is good. It keeps your interest. It is written really well.
Dual perspective.
Yeah, dual perspective, because you're listening about the girl and you're listening about the man. So he's, I don't know if, yeah, it's dual perspective, maybe. Obviously, we're hearing about the man that abducts children, and it must be in his person. I can't remember. There's also this new guy that's come in that he wants to work at Christmas Land, and he's a psychopath or something really scary because he ended his parents. So
Ooh.
sometimes you don't want to read a book like this. So I actually
Picked up a horror.
well, it sounded, I mean, this looks like an interesting cover, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look like an interesting horrifying cover.
I'm reading a horror story. Horror road trip story.
Yeah, see?
It's a big book though. I'm only this far, so
Yeah, it's a long book.
but yeah, I can see how it gets good reviews because it's easy to read. The author has done a really good job of capturing your interest and keeping you there.
So I picked up the graphic novel that I have, a road trip graphic novel, and it's called Are You Listening? It's by Tilly Walden. It's supposed to be LGBTQ. It looks like it's YA, but one character is 18 and the other one is in her late 20s or mid 20s or something like that. And it basically starts out with this one character running away from home. Let's see, the other character's name is Lou. B is the one that's running away from home, but 18, so she's like running away from home even though she's an adult. And then the other one is Lou, and she's leaving town. She's going on a journey or a trip or something. They run into each other at like a convenience store. Lou recognizes Beatrice and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then offers to give B a ride to this one town that's on the way, part of the journey. And I think that they're going to start talking about some of the things that are going on. Right now, they're having a hard time talking about anything. Like, anytime Lou asks B something personal, B, like, snaps at her. And the same with when B asks Lou anything personal, Lou snaps at her. So it's kind of like they're having a really hard time communicating at the moment, or they don't want to share anything about their journey. But as you know, when you go on road trips, you tend to start talking, you know, especially if you're going on road trips with people that you haven't talked to in a long time or what have you. And that's the time that you have conversations, right? Because you're on the road for a long time and think through the things in your life that are going on. It sometimes can be good therapy to go on road trips.
So you think they'll start talking pretty soon?
I think this is meant to be like a therapeutic story where they've had things go on in their life. They're not happy with where their life is going to, and they're coming together to talk through things. Okay, so it is late in the evening, and I'm working on editing day 6 and day 7 video because I did not get a day 6 video out. So tomorrow we're heading out, and we'll be back on the road, back to listening to our audiobooks. We'll be spending the night at Shell's house tomorrow night. So I'm going to end it here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe so you can see what happens on day 8. And we're back on the road and finishing out our road trip audiobooks. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.